Hari. Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtanam ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Lakshmi Narasimhadev ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri La Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम् परमानंदमाधवम श्री चैतन्यईश्वरम हरे कृष्णा so so today we'll be continuing with the ongoing theme on Sharanagati. There's the fourth one, that is Gopitritve Varanam Tata. Just before starting, I seek the prayers and blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas that may get the right words to glorify the Lord, and also in parampara. Just like the goose birds, they go in a V shape, in a group, and one of the bird takes the, it will be in the front. After some time, when it has a difficulty or struggles, then the other bird comes to the front and takes the position, and this bird comes to the back. The same way, my hope is that so many wonderful Vaishnavas are there. I am also practicing sadhaka, and uh, I don't say that I have the realization of Sharanagati or something, but taking the words of the Acharyas and just sharing some other things. Many of you may be much more surrendered than me, already offering everything. My only hope is that whenever I struggle or I stumble across not getting the right words or the proper this, and then so many wonderful Vaishnavas are there to help me coming in the front and taking the chance. With that, I'll try to share little whatever I have. I could hear and try to make some notes. So till now, the first three aspects, that is anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. Then the third one is rakshasyati iti vishwaso. These three are covered. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a whole book of songs on this aspect of Sharanagati, all the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. And it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who personally, with his own life, demonstrated the process of Sharanagati. Like, no. And he came to establish and show, because Krishna told Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papabhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. Don't fear, you surrender unto me. But how to surrender, Krishna didn't tell, and the people of this Kali Yuga, they are not able to make out. Just like these days, for any competitive exam, so many institutes are there to, apart from the textbooks, to help coach so that they can crack that exam. The same way, Krishna also saw that just the textbook is not sufficient. Some coaching has to be done, holding the hands and taking the person. That's why Krishna came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to personally show from his own life and explain what it means to surrender to Krishna. So in this book, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written the songs, so there Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that he comes the reverse way, in the sense that the Atmanikshepa Karpanya, these are the 2 more limbs of Sharanagati out of the 6. So he says Karpanya, or the humility, is the first one, in the sense humility. When one is humble, then he surrenders to the Atmanikshepa, he surrenders to the Lord and accepts the Lord as a supreme master and the controller. And then with that faith, keeping the faith in the protection and shelter of the Lord, then he does the anukulyasya sankalpa and pratikulyasya varjanam. He accepts the favorable and rejects the unfavorable. So that way, today what we are going to discuss is the Gopitritve Varanam, that is accepting the Krishna as a supreme Lord and the master of our lives. So in this material world, if you see that everybody wants to become the boss, like no, boss on boss. The very famous, many of the times we have discussed and we might have heard also the pastime of when Srila Prabhupada had gone for the printing of the Bhagavad Gita to the Dai Nippon press. Prabhupada with his Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Brahmananda Maharaj, and all other few sannyas disciples were there, and they had gone to the Dai Nippon printing press. And there was one person from the company who was assisting all of them, taking from their accommodation to the office. He takes them, and there were the executives, the top people of the Dai Nippon factory, and they sit and discuss how much should be the price and everything. So finally, they say that Swamiji, this is the least price. 1 rupee 20 paise is the price which we can give. But Prabhupada was telling, no, 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 90 paise, something like that. Prabhupada was telling. Then finally they say, oh, no, we cannot give. And they come to the Tamal Krishna Maharaj and says, no, no, he is quoting so less, we cannot give it. It's unimaginable. But then Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Prabhupada had a good understanding. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, actually, I was supposed to speak, I was supposed to make the deal, but because he is my spiritual master, in front of him I cannot speak. Otherwise, I was planned to ask for 70 paise and now he's telling 90 paise. How can I speak in front of my master? Less than that or in front of me. It is not a good etiquette. So that's why I'm keeping quiet. Now you deal with him. And then they discuss among themselves, hey, we were thinking 120 and 90 is so less, but he would have asked for 70. I think 90 is a better deal. Let us make it. And they close the deal. And then finally it get closed. And then afterwards, they all get up. Around 6 of them were there. They all take up their visiting card, keep it on the table, and then they show respect to Prabhupada and they leave. And then Prabhupada was talking to this gentleman from Dai Nippon who was assisting all of them, taking from the accommodation and all. Then, so what is the goal of your life? And he takes his visiting card and keeps it on the table, and collects all the other 6 and keeps it down. And he takes his card from the down and keeps it on the top, to show that right now I am like no below all of them, but my goal in life is to become the master. I want to be top of all. So that way, in this material world, everyone wants to become the master. But if you see, ultimately, although one wants to become the master, but one ends up becoming the servant of someone or the other. Because that is the eternal, the position of a living entity. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nitya Das. It's the eternal servant of Krishna, and because of which the loving and serving propensity is there in the heart, and it naturally comes out. And especially in this modern times, it has become such that the moment one goes to the education system makes one become a better servant. Like no, because the moment one goes asking for the job, please give me a job, give me a job. It is nothing but a Shudra who goes searching for the like no job with others, works under someone else. So although, sorry to say this, I was also one of them. So whatever we may be, one may be like no, working in a MNC or whatever it is. The moment one is working under someone, that means it is nothing but a job of a Shudra. So ultimately, it is one ends up in that, although one say that I'm such and such, I have such big post. So once Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan to meet Srila Prabhupada, the owner of the Dalmia group of industries, he had come. They're the big wealthy business people. So Prabhupada was with him, his grandson was also there. Prabhupada was telling him that you send your son to the Gurukul so that he can learn the proper values and systems, and he doesn't have to become the servant of someone else. He can give the job to others, and he may have many more servants. And to lead that, he has to be a good leader. Only a good leader can lead others. So for that, he needs to have good values. So please send him to the Gurukul, where he can learn the right values. Prabhu was telling. So that way, if it is the case that ultimately we have to become the servants, then why not accept a master who can give the shelter? Or why to search here and there, go to the those shelters which may not be the real? Later to understand that, oh, I took a wrong shelter. In this material world, uh, in the 11th canto, in the 24 Guru section, there one shloka comes wherein Avanti Brahmana says, Uddhava tells to Krishna that, Krishna, I want to take shelter of you only, no one else. Because you are the real master and the protector and the friend of all the living entities. Because he says that, like, no, you are anavadyam, you are faultless. And only you are the right person who can give shelter to anyone else. Because all others take your shelter, and from that only they can give shelter or provide anything to the others. Even before starting any puja or anything, one worships Lord Ganesha, so that all the the vignas or the impediments, wrong things should not happen, to overcome all those. This one. But then Lord Ganesha yadpada pallavaikam vinidhaya kumbad vande pranama samaye saghana diraja. He keeps the lotus feet of Lord Narasimhadev on his head, and from that he is getting that ability to remove all the obstacles. So in this, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatan Goswami Pad also writes, what is this Gopitritve? He says, Gopitritve Varanam Geyam Bhakter Hridayatar Param Prapatti Ekarthakatvena Tatangitvena Tatsmritam. So in this, Gopitritve Varanam Geyam Bhakter Hridayataram Param. This is very pleasing to the devotees. And this Gopitritve, that accepting this Krishna as the one's Lord and the Master, this is the foundation. Although 6 limbs are there, 6 out of the 6, Acharya say this is the foundation, this is the Angi, and all other 5 are the Angas. This is a foundation on which all others are standing. So it says that please, Krishna, please protect me and please accept me as your own. So when anybody wants to surrender to the Lord, many people surrender or worship Supreme Lord. They may worship at different uh, stages. Like now, one may surrender or worship the Lord out of the fear that if I don't worship, something wrong may happen. Or somebody may worship out of the desire, oh, I'll do this so that I can get something back. Or somebody may worship out of the duty, that, oh, I'm getting so many things from the Lord, so I should do something. And someone will worship out of the love, which is the topmost. Just like a thief, when he has done some mistake and the police come and catch, he may surrender to the police. Or when a uh, uh, army which has lost the battle, he may surrender to the opposite army which has won over. That is also one kind of surrender, wherein he is forced, he doesn't have any alternative, and forcefully he is made to surrender. Or a patient may go to the doctor and surrender to the doctor because he knows that I cannot do anything, but he can help me. I need something from him. That is, I have some disease, he should cure me. And he can cure me. That's why I will go and surrender to him. This is out of some desire. Whereas a devotee surrenders just like a wife or a husband surrenders to the beloved one. Out of, it is not that out of any expectation or anything wanting in return, but it's just purely out of the love. One is ready to do anything for the sake of the other. And a devotee also surrenders to the Supreme Lord with this attitude. That's why when in the case of Vritrasura, when he offers the prayers, when he prays that, my dear Lord, I want to serve you with my body, mind, and words. And for that, I don't want any post position, anything. And he gives the three examples in that Ajata Pakshaiva Mataram Khaga. That is, I want to be like my baby bird, and you are like the mother bird. But then he realizes that, but mother bird takes the service from the, sorry, baby bird takes service from the mother bird. Mother comes to the baby bird and feeds, and ultimately, like baby bird is what it is doing. It is calling mother to its place and taking service. So I don't want. I am not asking for this. Then he says the second one, that is uh, Ajata Pakshyo Mataram Kaga Tanyam Yata Vatsakshudartha. The babe, the calf goes to the cow for taking the milk. It runs to the cow. The same way, my dear Lord, I'll come running to you. You need not have to come to me. But after saying that, he says, Are, but in that also I'm running to the Lord, but I am taking from him again, taking the milk. So he says, cancel. This is also not needed. The third one, he says, the Priyam Priyeva Vishitam Vishanna. Just like a wife whose husband has gone out is eagerly waiting for the husband to come back. Not that, oh, husband will come back with some gift or something, not out of any distance, but wanting to serve. And there's no expectation that, oh, I'm doing this so that you should do that to me. It is just purely out of love. So that way, Manoramindaksha Dadrikshate Tvam. So he says that, my dear Lord, I want to serve in that way. So the same way, a devotee also wants to surrender, not with any expectations, but just out of love, understanding that in any case, you are my eternal master and I am your eternal servant. That's what when Prahlad Maharaj was uh, asked to seek some benediction, Prahlad Maharaj said that I am not a Vanik, my dear Lord. I don't want to do business with you, that give and take. Rather, in either case, he says, uh, Raja Sainikayor Tata, something that he says that like a king and the Praja, how a Praja is always ready to give tax to the king, and king is ready to accept the tax for the sake of taking care of the Praja. The same way, eternally I am your servant and you are my master. So that way, I don't want anything, but I want to offer everything to your pleasure in whatever way you want. So that way, praying to the Lord that please protect me and accept me as your own. This is the basic principle of this Gopitritve Varanam Tatha. And in that, although devotee prays that please Krishna, please accept me as your own, how much time it takes for the Lord to accept? We see in the case of Raghunath Das Goswami, he was, after hearing from Haridas Thakur about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became so much attracted that he wanted to go and surrender to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Time and again, he makes so many attempts, but then every time it failed. And finally, when he goes and meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the way to Vrindavan, that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Don't become like a batula, that like a madman. Like no, you stay at home and become like a don't become a Markata Vairagi. Rather, like no, you have Krishna within your heart, but externally act like a worldly man." So hearing that principle, Raghunath Das Goswami goes and Prabhupada writes, he became a pounds and shilling man. It means externally he was so involved with the business or helping his father. The father becomes shocked that how is that my son has become so much interested in this, all the worldly things. But it was just a external
show in terms of just like a uh, woman has a paramour other than her husband. She serves the husband so nicely that he should never ever get even a small doubt that she likes someone else. The same way Raghunath Das Goswami was serving. But ultimately, when he got the opportunity, he ran when he served the devotees in the Paniyati festival. That one. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you tolerate and have patience. Like no, avashya, like no, surely the Lord is going to shower his mercy, but have patience. The same way in our life also, that when the Lord will accept, we don't know. Till the time he accepts us, we need to have the patience and go on serving the Lord. So that way, even just like Krishna is so patient that he is seated in the heart of every living entity for all time to come. And he is eagerly waiting when the living entity is going to turn towards me so that I can shower my mercy on him. And he never forces. He just, whatever the living entity does, in whichever body one goes, still he tolerates and patiently waits for the living entity to turn. So that is Krishna's patience. And even the devotees also are very patient. When anybody takes to Krishna consciousness, the devotees are also patiently waiting for them to slowly take up. Once Srila Prabhupada was there in the West, and one of the devotee, he had to send some letters in the post. So he had to apply stamp. Many letters were there. Based on his habit, he took the stamp, put it in his tongue, applied saliva, and put it on the letter. This one. Immediately, Prabhupada saw, Muchi, Muchi. Hey, this is not the way to do. Take little water, put little water, one drop of water, and apply. So he started doing it, applying. And Prabhupada went out and he put all the stamps. Last one was remaining, and the water got over. He was little thinking that, array, who will go out and then get the little water, and then let me just last one. Let me put saliva, and anyways looked around, nobody is there. So theek hai, chalta hai. And then he put the stamp on the tongue. The moment he was taking out from the tongue, immediately the door opened and like Prabhupada saw, I told you. I told you not to do. So that way the living entity time and again it goes down. The nature of this material world is anything we throw up, it comes down. And swimming upstream is the most challenging or the difficult thing. Flowing with the wind, flowing with the common people or the things of this world is very easy, but to go against is the challenging. And taking to bhakti and practicing spiritual life is like raging a war against Maya. And Maya will see the all the possible ways how she can distract or how she can mm, obstruct. So that way, in that challenging environment, while doing one may a devotee may go down and up, but the devotees patiently wait to help the living entity, just like the Supreme Lord is also patient. So that way, we need to have patience while when we surrender to the Supreme Lord, with the hope that like no Krishna will surely protect. His Holiness Bhakti Samrat Maharaj was telling about the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. In that he said, when Prahlad Maharaj was thrown from the top of the cliff in Simhachalam and he was pushed, he fell in the water, and the while he was falling down, the soldiers pushed the mountain also. So they he should fall in the water and the mountain also should fall on him. So that from down water is there, from the top this there should not be any opportunity for him to escape. So the moment he was thrown from the cliff, Lord didn't come and protect him. When he fell, almost fell in the, he was like, no, he fell in the water and the mountain was about to fall on him. At that time, Lord came and protected. So Maharaj was telling that Krishna will test till the end. Like it is not that the moment we are put in the difficulty, like Krishna will come and no, why? Don't worry, I'm there to help. No, Krishna will test till the end to check whether is it that really like he surrenders or it is an external matter. And the moment difficulty comes, he changes his this one. Because whatever is our externally we may act, or it is easy to showcase what we are not in front of others, but it can happen for a small time, or we cannot do it all the times for long time. Just take the story of Akbar and Birbal. All of you know the story of the a person who comes and tells that I can speak in any language and nobody can make out which is my mother tongue. And the Birbal wanted to find, Akbar said, how to do it, Birbal? Birbal said, I'll do it. And when he's sleeping, he pricks a pin, and then he immediately speaks it in his mother language. The same way, when we are put in the difficulty or in the most crucial situation or the terms, that is the time what our real nature comes out. So for us to really have the shelter of the Supreme Lord, then we need to, it's a practice. We need to keep doing it. We may fail many times, but at least we are in the right direction. That endeavor makes us to do it one day. Just like in this material world, people work so hard or put so much of endeavor to achieve success in so many things, especially those who want to go for the IITs or the entrance exam. Right from 6th, 7th, the foundation and pre-foundation, all the classes starts, and then so that for them to become like qualified, so many people attempt, and some people they take 1 2 years. And for the sake of, I knew one devotee who had studied in Chennai. He got a desire that I should do IAS, and took a break. And 3 years, year after year, he was trying again. He tried to coaching in Chennai, and then he went to Delhi, and then still after 3.5 years, he could not clear. But still, he didn't give up hope. And to the extent he was working so hard that, Prabhuji, 18, 19 hours I am studying every day. And he said, one day I was coming in the road. At one junction I stood. My mind became complete blank, that I could not make out. Now should I take left or right, or where I am going, from where I am coming, I could not make out. I just had to 3 4 minutes. I had to sit down in a corner and to recollect from where I am coming, what I am doing, where I should go. So they put so much of endeavor just for the sake of something which is there for few years. Even one becomes an IAS officer, he may serve there in that position for maybe 25, 30 years, or 35 years. And after that, at the end of the life, whether IAS, IPS, or whatever it is, again the next we have to start with the ABCD. So for that we endeavor so much, then why not put that same endeavor for the sake of practicing bhakti? Bhakti Vinod Thakur used to say, whenever I see the materialists working so hard for sense gratification or material prosperity, I get lot of inspiration that how much more I should be eager to practice my bhakti and to serve my Supreme Lord. Because ultimately, He is the only one who can protect us and gives us shelter. In 11th canto, 7th chapter, 18th verse, Tasmad bhavantam anavadyam anantaparam sarvajnamishwaram akunta vikunta dishyam nirvinnadir ahamohe vrijinabi tapto. Last time I'm not able to kill. In that, like no, Uddhava says, my dear Lord, you are the faultless and you are the only shelter. And in that, the purport, Prabhupada disciples, based on the Acharya's commentary, they write so amazing. It's really very hope giving purport. 11, 7, 18. Any of you anytime feel very much like no, turbulent or frustrated, can read that purport, and it's very hope giving. In that, the reality of this material world is explained. That how there may be master in this material world, while taking the service, they take like no, the service, and when the time of reward comes, either the master may not be there, or they may never forget, or they may like forget the service done by the master. Just like no, less than a week back, one of our devotee, one fine day he goes to the office, and they say that now because the offline classes are happening, there is not much online, people are joining for the online coaching and other things. So we are laying you off. Tomorrow is the last day. You can come and submit your laptop and everything, and we'll give you some one and a half month salary, and you can search for something else. So that way, although one may be trying to serve some master, but when the time of the reward or some comes, then the master will, they'll not see that, oh, he has been serving with me for 1 year or something. No, okay, you are doing something to me when it is not possible. Just get lost. So that is the way the material world works. Whereas in the spiritual world, in the case of Vibhishana, where Vibhishana comes to surrender to Lord Ram, when he says that, my dear Lord, like when he comes, that time Lord Ram asked all of them, and everybody says, no, don't accept, because he may be our enemy. But Hanuman says, you should accept. That time Lord Ram says, Sakradeva prapannoyam tavasmi iti yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadamyeta vratam mama. My vrata is Maryada Purushottam. Whatever he says, he will not break. So what is my vrata? Like Sakrat eva prapannoyam. Even if somebody surrender says once that Tava asmi iti cha yachate. If somebody says, my dear Lord, I am yours, even once they say, then he says, Abhayam sarvada tasmai. For all time to come, I'll give them the Abhaya. And this is my promise. The same way, here also Lord, like no, Jagannath, who is non-different from the Supreme Lord Ram, is there. If he said, oh Jagannath, I am yours, if we tell once, then he is ready to give us that, the shelter and the protection. And that is the uh, word of Lord Ram. And then even at this moment, if Ravana comes and surrenders unto me, Lord said, I will forgive him and I'll give him the Lanka. Then if you give him the Lanka, what about Vibhishan? No, I'll make him the king of the Ayodhya. And if you make him the Ayodhya, what about Bharata? I'll give him my Saketa Dham. So that way, Lord Ram is not like, no, Lord is not minding that my position. No, he is ready to take the position of the servant, to become ready to become the servant of his devotee. That is not just saying, he's showing by becoming servant of Arjuna as a chariot driver. Have you ever seen the top, like the owner of the company, coming and telling to the one of his employee that, oh, I'll become your chauffeur. Tell me wherever you want to take me, I'll drive you. Okay, someday he may drive on the way while going to the home. I'm going this way. If you want, I can drop you till there. Not that I have to go to like no, left 10 kilometers. I'll go right 10 kilometers just for you. Very rare. And that too not all the time. But the Supreme Lord is such a master that who is ready to do that. So when we surrender also, sometimes the people may surrender just out of naive, uh, what you can say, may not be the full understanding, or just out of what do you say, need of the moment, or naive manner, yeah, without much proper understanding. But Acharya say, no, we should surrender to the Supreme Lord with proper full understanding. Tattvataha, like no, what Krishna says. Because when one surrenders with right understanding, then one will never give up that shelter or the position, understanding that Krishna will protect. Otherwise, when one surrenders just with naive, or seeing the others, or just out of the circumstantial, when the tough situation comes and when Krishna doesn't respond, then immediately they may change the position, or they may give it up, considering that, Are, I think it is not going to happen. But when, that's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, uh, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that uh, he says, like, to understand the tattva, na kara alas, that like, no, don't be lazy, Siddhanta, boliya chitta na kara alas, that like, no, don't be lazy to understand the Siddhanta or the philosophy. When you understand who is Krishna and what is his position, what he can do, then we will be, no matter what situation it is, one will not get disturbed or distracted in serving him. So that is the way one can get that complete faith in the Krishna's protection. And for to do that, when we go through the scriptures and see a different situations, or how Krishna protected someone who had taken shelter, and what was the consequence of taking shelter and not taking shelter, that can give us more and more hope. If you see the pastimes of in the Krishna Leela, although Krishna was in the Vrindavan, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, but if you see, more than any other place, most dangers and difficulties were there in the presence or the place where Krishna was there. And even in the case of the Pandavas who were so close to Krishna, still in their lives, aho nyayam, aho custom, like no, yadyam drupanandana, that like now when they all come in front of the Bhishmadev says, oh, all of you underwent so many troubles, so many difficulties, although Krishna, like no, you were like no, so close to Krishna. And then he says that that is because of Krishna's plan. And also the in this material world, time is such a factor that it can make like no rags into riches and riches into rags. And that's going to happen in this material world. But he says, because Krishna was there always with you, that's why like no, always you were victorious. Although so many difficulties will come, even so many demons attacked Vrindavan. But if you see, at any moment of the time, Krishna was there to protect them. To the extent of, even when the Gopas, they are seeing Krishna and they are seeing that, oh, here is a big, nice place. It is looking like a demon, but still at the same time, very soft road is there. Anyways, let us go. Krishna is there. That was their the faith. And they run inside the mouth of Aghasura just within some time to get completely, they become unconscious. When Krishna saw that, he ran and brought them back from that state. Or in the case of the just after the Kaliya Mardana, then they were all in the grazing field. Then the forest fire comes and Krishna sucks the whole forest fire. Or in the case of when Indra, out of anger, he sends the Samvartaka clouds. That time also Krishna was there guiding them and tells them that don't worry, we should worship the Giriraj. And even when Nanda Maharaj was telling that, okay, we'll worship him also, Indra also, no. So that way he protects them. So at every stage of the life of Rajavasis, Krishna was there to protect them. And to the extent of, even when the uh, son of Sandipani Muni, when he was dead, he brings him back to life. Or in the case of that son of Brahmana, whose children were being like no, they would get uh, uh, kidnapped, or they would miss the child, and they didn't know who is doing what. At that time, Arjuna says that I'll protect, and he also could not. And when he was ready to enter the fire, at that time Krishna tells, come. And he takes to the abode of Mahavishnu and brings the child back. Or when the case of the Jayadratha, when Arjuna thought everything is over now, my no life is, I have to end my life. At that time, Krishna takes the chakra and gives him a chance to kill Jayadratha. So if you see so many instances, we see that there was never ever that uh, Krishna was defeated or Krishna was no, he was in a most precarious situation that he could not do anything. Yes, that has happened, but that is out of love. That's what make the acharyas become, they say, it's so bewildering Krishna that he is making so the fear of death is fearful of Krishna, whereas Krishna becomes fearful in front of seeing the small stick in the hand of Mother Yashoda. This is most amazing, bewildering thing. He is no uh, 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 so small, tender, but still when it comes to the lifting, then he lifted the Govardhan hill, such huge thing. And to carry the chapel of Nanda Maharaj is finding so difficult. He is no, going here and there as if he is carrying a very heavy thing. So seeing these things, Acharya said it's most bewildering. Then when we understand that who Krishna is, then we become, that can give us more hope that yes, in whichever situation I am in, if I take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then he can protect me from any kind of danger. That no, in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, seeing the faith of Prahlad Maharaj, Lord is ready to come out of the pillar, appear from the pillar. Just because Prahlad said that he is there in that pillar, he appeared in that. So Lord is ready to fulfill the wish and desire of his dear devotees. So that way, in terms of this Gopitritve, accepting the Supreme Lord as the one's life and shelter, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written 4 songs. In that, today we'll try to sing one and discuss a little bit in the remaining maybe 20 minutes. So this is the, I don't know, it is not connected. Maybe all can open the song Sarvasva Tumara Charane Sampiya. सर्वस्व तोमार चरणे संपिया पड़ेছি তোমার ঘরে তুমি তো তুমি তো ঠাকুর তোমার কুকুর বলিয়া জানা হো মোরে सर्वस्व তোমার চরণে সম্পিয়া পড়েছি তোমার ঘরে তুমি তো ঠাকুর তোমার কুকুর বলিয়া জানা হো মোরে So in this, like the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Sarvasva Tomar Charane Sampiya, everything, whatever I have Charane Sampiya, I have offered it at your lotus feet. Podechi tomara ghare. I am standing outside your house. Tumi to Thakur, you are my master. Tomara kukur, I am your dog. Bhuliya jana hamare. Like no, in this he is considering himself as the the dog who is standing outside of the house of his uh, master, that is the Supreme Lord. So, just like all the devotees also wear the Kantimala to declare that I am Krishna's dog. This is a the street dog doesn't have the belt. It can be chased and stoned by anybody. But the moment they see the belt, people will be a little bit fearful. Oh, what if the master is nearby? The same thing, even the Yamadutas, when they got shocked, seeing that how is that? Like no, somebody who came there to accept and challenged us. When they saw that, then okay, anyways, let it. Basraj, let it be. They will see in the movement. So at that time, uh, Yamaraj says that like no, never ever go to the place or devote people who chant names of Lord Vishnu because you don't have any adhikar over them. So that is the way that the devotees they take shelter of the Supreme Lord and they want to remain as the servant, or they consider I am the dog of my master. So in the 11th canto, Krishna tells Uddhava, Tasmatvam Uddhavotssrijya Chodanam Pratichodanam Pravrittim cha Nivrittim cha Shrotavyam Shrutameva cha Mamekam Meva Sharanam Atmanam Sarvadehinam Yahi Sarvatma Bhavena Mayasya Hyakuto Bhaya. So how you can become Akuto Bhaya? You can become completely fearless. So here Krishna tells Tasmatvam Uddhavotssrijya. Utssrijya means give up. Chodanam Pratichodanam, the Vedas, whatever the Vedas are telling or the supplementary Upanishads are telling, give it up everything. Pravritim cha nivritim cha. What are the do's and don'ts? You give up all those things. Shrotavyam shrutameva cha. Whatever you have heard or whatever you are going to be yet to be heard, leave all those things. Mamekam eva sharanam. Like you just surrender onto me alone. From that you can become completely fearless. So that's what even the Shukadeva Goswami tells to Parikshit Maharaj also that Tasmat Bharava Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavya Ichchata Abhayam. If you want Abhaya, then what you do? You hear about the Supreme Lord, and that can give the real uh, fearlessness. So that's why Prabhupada also in the nectar of instruction he says the Krishna consciousness movement is there to give shelter to all the people. Give a place. When does a person comes to the shelter? When he is feeling the heat, or when he is feeling when he is suffering from the heat of the sun, that time you want to go below the shade where he can get relieved of that. The same way in the another place also, Uddhava says the lotus feet of the Lord is like he says it is compared to the umbrella Atapatra. Shita Atapatra. That is like it is a cool shade it gives by going to the shelter of the lotus feet. So the same way, being the Lord is telling that you come to my, and he is ready to give the shelter. The same way as a devotees, when we are dealing with other devotees or when we are preaching, we should know the what is the mindset of the master. Then only a servant can serve better. Otherwise, in the name of the servant, he may burn the people who come there. That's what happened then when the Jay and Vijay they were standing. When the four Kumaras came, like no, not exactly understanding the how much the Lord values the Brahmanas. It was orchestrated by the Lord, but then even there, without understanding the mindset of the Lord, the whole pastime happened, and the Lord comes and pacifies both the parties. So that's why even while we are serving, Krishna is all compassionate. The same way, devotees also should be like no, have compassion while preaching and when the other people, just like Prabhupada tolerated so many things in his life to give a chance for the others to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, the same way devotees also should tolerate those the new people when they are being preached. Just like a mother, the child may kick and do so many things, but that doesn't make the mother become angry and okay, you are kicking me and doing so many things, get lost. Or she will never push the child, even despite the child may hit, beat, what not, but still mother catches and like no feeds in the mouth, understanding that the child is like now playing childishly, doesn't know what is good for him. The same way one should have, the devotees also should have the compassion towards other living entity. So in the next, like now, second one. बंदिया निकटे हमारे पालिबे रोहिबो तुम्हार द्वारे प्रतीप जने रे आसीते न दीबो राखिबो गडेर पारे बंदिया निकटे हमारे पालिबे रोहिबो तुम्हार द्वारे प्रतीप जाने रे आसीते ना दीबो राखिबो गडेर पारे So in this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling that, my dear Lord, please, like no, Bandhiya Nikata, you keep me always near your shelter, or don't push me away, because I want to remain at your lotus feet always. I don't want to give it up and go anywhere else. So the same way, a devotee also doesn't want to leave the shelter of the Supreme Lord. I will like no, just like a dog. Sometimes it is, if the dog is known for its loyalty, it is so loyal that it always at any moment wants to serve the master. The same way devotee says, my dear Lord, whatever you do, I remain your servant. That was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also in the last verse of Shikshashtakam, he says, Ashtishyava padratam pinashtamam. That whether you, my dear Lord, you embrace me or you throw me away, but still I remain your servant, life after life. So that way, even a devotee, when serving the Supreme Lord, no matter how hardship comes, he will not mind taking those hardship for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. When Madhavendra Puri was told to go and get the Chandana, so he goes so much, ಬಹು ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಕರಿ ಚಂದನ ಆಣಿಲ ಆನಂದ ಬಡಿಲ ಮನ್ ದುಃಖನ ಗಣಿಲ. Like no, he says, like no, there Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, after doing all those things, he didn't tell. He was told that go and get the chandan. He went with so many difficulties walking, and he was bringing. And then in between, he says, no, no, you don't have to come to Vrindavan. You apply in the Remuna only. So many, like no, this one. Why are you telling once this, once that? No. Whether you want me to apply there or whether you want me to bring it, I am ready to do. And Ananda Badila, while taking so much of troubles and hardships, he's telling that I am relishing it. My happiness is increasing, and the hardships I am not seeing only. So the same way, just like the mother doesn't keep the transaction of the child, see, so many times in the night, midnight, you cried and I was awake. And so many times you troubled me so much. So there is no expectation in return. Just it is out of love, mother serves. So the same way, a devotee, no matter how much difficulties or whatever, happiness or distress, in all times, he does just want to remember the Supreme Lord and surrender. He'll never leave the shelter. Just like Srila Prabhupada also, Prabhupada was tested in the beginning by giving so many difficulties, one after the other, failures, failure after failure, failure after failure. And then later, Prabhupada said, I was tested in both the ways by not giving anything and then giving so many, so many surrendered disciples and so much of wealth and everything. But still, Prabhupada, in all the cases, he was always undisturbed. When he was given the best of the facilities, Prabhupada accepted it as a humble servant. And when nothing was there, he was ready to stay with the Gorgon Swami Maharaj in the simple shack hut in the Bhuvaneshwar. So that's the Lord. So that way, a devotee understands that this material world is a place of suffering and uh, it is a relative. So that way, he will never, not uh, lose his focus. For example, if a person is told, see, just go fast, take this empty suitcase, go to this place, there gold is there, go and get the gold. Then when he just comes out of the room, if somebody says, hey, what is this suitcase? It is so dirty, or like whatever comment he passes, like your dress is not good, that he is least bothered about all those things because his focus is, yes, I have to get the gold. The same way, a devotee understands that the focus in the life is Krishna Bhakti, because all other things in this material world are temporary. Only one thing is real, that is Krishna and his holy name, and anything related to Krishna, that is the only permanent thing. Once uh, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Arvind Mafatlal, he was sharing that there was a time he was one of the top 5 richest person in India at one point of the time in the 80s. And there was a time when many things happened and he lost many of the things, and it was a great difficult times he was undergoing. Then he met one of the sannyasis and he was just interacting with him. And then he said, the one sentence he said, I remember that, and anytime difficulty come, that gives me a solace. He said, that sannyasi told him that, see, in this material world, everything comes and goes, and nothing is permanent. If there is something permanent, there's only Krishna and his holy name. That is the permanent thing. All other things, it is there today and gone tomorrow. He said that gave me so much of hope that when that hardships were going on, I could easily go through those hardships. The same way, when a devotee understands, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that the Golokera Prema Dhana, Harinama Sankirtana, that like, know this, the holy name, as in the all the 13 planetary system, this is the Prema Dhana, the wealth. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in the 14 planetary systems, there is nothing which is more valuable than this. So that way, a devotee understanding these things, he says, no matter what, I will not leave the shelter of my master, and I stay in this. He never loses his focus. Many times while uh, practicing, as a practicing sadhaka, there may be many distractions. Distractions means which takes our mind away from Krishna. So that way, that will be there. But even though the distractions are there, again, when we are with the association of the devotees, they remind us when we are getting distracted that, Prabhu, please come back. That was the mistake which happened by Bharat Maharaj, that he didn't add anybody to pull him back when he was going in this one. The next one. Tava nija jana prasada seviya uchishta rakhi beja. Amara bhojana parama anande pratidina betaha. So here in this, he's aspiring for the that I'll remain as a dog and I'll be eager to get the Tava Nijajana, that your dear devotees, their Uchishta, that is Amara Bhojana, that is my food. Parama Anande Pratidina Habetaha. I desire for this every day. We see in the pastime of Kalya Krishnadas also. He was so eager to accept the Mahaprasad of all the devotees. That's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Krishnadas Kaviraj quotes his incident, pastime, there he writes, Bhakta Pada Duliyar, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhokta Vasheshati Namahabal. If you want to progress in spiritual life, he says these three are the very valuable, very potent things which can help one to progress in the bhakti very fast. Bhakta Pada Duli, the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Bhakta Pada Jal, the water which has washed the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Bhakta Bhokta Avashesha, the food remnants which is taken by the Vaishnava. These three things. Just like it is said that when a person is deceased, don't take, like now recently when COVID was there, be careful, like now cover your face and so many things. Otherwise, through saliva and all, it will, like no, it may one may get sick or one may get infected. The same way, the pure devotees or Krishna's devotees, they have the disease of Krishna Bhakti. They are like, because of which they become mad remembering and serving Krishna. The same madness may come if you also take their remnants. That's what happened to the Narada boy, Uchishta Lepa Anumodita Dvijay. That like now when he took with their permission the remnants of the Bhaktivedantas, later that gave him eagerness to hear, and with that eagerness when he heard, then later when mother left her body, he followed the what he had heard and continued. So, and even Prabhupada used to say, tell that ours is kitchen movement. So, and even we see that how the prasad plays such important role in our Krishna consciousness, that Prabhupada started the whole movement with the like feeding the prasad. And once, all of you know this Haridas Prabhu, who came to Prabhupada for stealing the golden watch. But then somehow he stayed and he continued. And he had an inclination to eat chocolates. One day when he came from the purchase, he offered obeisances to Prabhupada, and from the pocket, chocolate fell down. Prabhupada said, "Oh, you like chocolates?" "Yes, Prabhupada." And Prabhupada immediately took him to the kitchen. He made halwa and he fed him. And whenever you want to eat chocolate, feel like eating chocolates, tell me, I'll make and give. And Haridas Prabhu was personally, I heard from him saying that I remember the taste of what halwa I ate. And after eating it, I never felt like I should aspire for something else. That is the potency of the prasadam. So, and Krishna's prasad, what it can do. Like no, it is so potent that Krishna sucked the breast of mother Yashoda, and later Putana, when she came and took the milk from the breast, because she got the Mahaprasad, like no, Krishna saw her as a mother and gave the liberated and gave her the position of a nurse in the spiritual world. So that's why Krishna is just like a sponge. When you squeeze it from all parts, whatever it has absorbed, it comes out. Just like a rasgulla, you squeeze it from any side, it oozes out the sugar syrup. The same way, Krishna is fully Karuna Sindhu. He is full of compassion. Wherever one touches Krishna, nothing but a karunyata comes out. The same way, devotees also, you squeeze them, the compassion comes from there. Once Bhaktidev Damodar Swami Maharaj was remembering that, like, no, he was glorifying Prabhupada that, like, no, Krishna didn't come to South Africa, like, no, Africa, or neither Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, nor like no, any of the other acharyas, but Prabhupada came all the way just to out of his compassion for all the living entities. So he was appreciating. So that is the glory of the devotees, and that's why one says that here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, "I want to take their Uchishtam." And what is the potency of the prasadam? In one shloka, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to the house of Advaitacharya, Shantipur, when Nityananda Prabhu distracts him, there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while sitting with Nityananda Prabhu for the prasadam, he says, "Aiche anna ye Krishna ke karaya bhojana, janme janme shire dharo tara charana." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Aiche anna ye Krishna ke karaya bhojana." Whoever has offered such wonderful offerings to Krishna, janme janme shire dharo tara charana. To such devotees, lotus feet, I'll put on my head, janme janme, life after life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is valuing that offering food to Krishna and accepting that Mahaprasad. Okay, I'll just sing the two more and then end in 2 minutes. বসিয়া শুইয়া তোমারা চরণ চিন্তিব সতত আমি নাচিতে নাচিতে নিকটে যাইব যখন ডাকিবে তুমি নিজের পোষণ কবু না ভাবিব রহিব ভাবের ভরে ভক্তে বিনোদ তোমারে পালক বলিয়া বরণ করে सर्वस्व तोमार चरणे संपिया पड़ेছি তোমার ঘরে তুমি তো ঠাকুর তোমার কুকুর বলিয়া জানা হো মোরে So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is ending by saying that, my dear Lord, like no boshiya shuiya tomara charane chintibo satatami, always I constantly remember you satata, and nachite nachite nikate jaibo jakona dakibe tumi, that wherever you call me, whenever you call me, I come nachite nachite happily, just like a dog, wherever it is sitting, like no, you just make some sound or the master calls, he immediately like no wags the tails and comes. Sometimes like on this rock, this one, dogs were sleeping, I just made a sound. Then from the terrace, immediately the its ears become very sharp and like turns where it is, and you hold something and throw it, immediately wagging the tail, it comes running. The same way here, like the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling that, my dear Lord, I don't practice bhakti out of "Arey karna padta hai na, arey so much trouble is there." No, whatever it is, however you treat me, but still I am always happy to come and serve you. I'm never feeling that I'm being troubled or I'm like no suffering. So this is the like no uh, mindset of a devotee. And when he surrenders to the Supreme Lord with this attitude, and Krishna is there always. He's a master. He's such a master that he never leaves the servant. If 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 it has happened that uh, somebody says that Krishna has left me or he is giving trouble, it is not that he is giving, it is we who have rejected him. Otherwise, he is the master who never leaves the servant. We are the wrong servants who always leave the shelter of the master and run away and still blame the master, and master remains quiet without uh, putting any case or any taking any action. So such is a loving master whom we have trying to take shelter, and we continue putting our efforts and making our endeavors, then for surely Krishna will always give a shelter. So thank you very much. Sorry for going little over time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I've been told that because of the gas was over, prasadam will take still some more time. You all have to tolerate me for some more time, or we can sing one more bhajan or something else. If any question or any, yes, Prabhuji, as I said, again, I may be in the front, but again, I'll come back and I'll request you to take the front position so that you can lead us. Yes, bro, please. Basraj, can you give mic?
You are mentioning that an example of the husband and wife aspect. Now, the question arises in modern days whether the wife should surrender to the husband or the husband should surrender to the wife so that both can have akuto bhayam. Okay, that's one. Second aspect, you gave some very nice examples of how classic examples in the scriptures of how the Lord showed his mercy to his wonderful devotees. In our day to day life, we normal living entities, how do we see the mercy of the Lord and develop faith that he really cares for us and he is providing and not we are only providing for ourselves as a general understanding? How do we change our consciousness to understand that Krishna is providing for us? Second question. Third, and the last question is more of a suggestion. You're mentioning about your friend's son who wanted to join IIT. Ask him not to go to Bangalore or not to go to Chennai. Ask him to go to Bihar. And without studying, he'll get through everywhere. So,
Yes. In terms of the first one, whether the husband should surrender to the wife or wife should surrender to the husband. So it is, I'm inexperienced, and whatever I say is based on the whatever I've little bit I've heard of the scriptures. So that way I'll try to speak from that. But most of you, just like a person who has not tasted the honey, no matter how much he tries to explain, he may not be explained as one has experienced. So all of you may know the answer to it, and or may be able to answer it, but I'll try to share. It is said that the Shastras tell the husband should follow the Guru, and the wife should follow the husband, and the children follow the mother. This is how it is there. And it is the basically it is that one is considering the other as a master and I am the servant. And if you see in this life, one may be a husband, and the previous day he was a wife. Because he was a wife and he was more inclined towards the male, then he has become the male. That's what the law of attraction or the karma says. So that way, in either case, either the male or a female, it is a prakriti, and only Purusha is Krishna. So ultimately, everybody has to surrender to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So whether, like, no, who should surrender to whom? It is, in one sense, it is everybody does, if they do their own duty, responsibility properly, then both can be happy. It's not that, like, no, husband should surrender to the wife and wife should, like, no, rule or take it ahead or something. It is both. Husband should be, like, no, Lord Ram, he took so much of hardship for the sake of getting mother back, that he never left it, or he never was like, no, TK, it is so tough or something. No, he was ready to do anything and everything. That way, husband should be there as a protector and provider, doing his responsibility. When one he does that, then naturally the wife, when feels sheltered, then she will be happy to serve the husband and, like, now consider him as the master. And in that, it is not, it is, like, no, neither is independent, it is the interdependent. Both assist each other in taking shelter of the Supreme Lord and going closer to him. This is my little understanding, bro. If somebody would like to add, or you can add something. Or yeah. So, and the second question you said, bro. So in the day-to-day aspects also, we can try to see that how Krishna is the provider. Just like we are all using the electricity. If we don't pay the electricity bill at the end of the month, the KB people come and then they will take out the the fuse and go. Will not have the this one. And if you don't pay the water bill, then the next month the water connection is not there. They cut the water connection. And recently the COVID was going on. At that time, if somebody says, I want oxygen, but I don't have money to pay, I'll not pay. Then they will say, okay, you go to the some place where they can provide free of cost. That means in this world, like, no, everywhere one is, like, no, one has to pay or something to get something back. But if you see in the whole nature, Krishna is giving, like, no, the sunlight and moonlight. Moon gives the puts the taste. All the six taste come from the moon. And also without the sunlight, there cannot be any food. Photosynthesis doesn't happen. And without photosynthesis, no living entity can be alive. The whole life is there in this planet because of the presence of the sun and moon. And we are not paying anything, any charges. We are monthly rental or one time in payment or something, nothing we are paying. Nor we are paying anything in terms of, like, no, uh, charges for Lord to send time to time rain. Without rain, although there may be so much of water in the ocean, but we cannot use that water. We have to depend on the sweet water, which Krishna is, like, mercifully taking the water from the ocean and pouring it at other places. And every day we are taking so many puffs of air. Even during the class, we are not counted how much we breathe in. So all these things are provided by the Lord without we asking for anything. Just like a father, none of the child, like, no, here Krishna Chandra is sitting. He is least worried about what will be my lunch or what will be my dinner or where will I sleep, what will I do. He is, like, peacefully lying in the lap of his father. And it is the headache of Dayamai Baldev proved that he'll be worried. What should I give him? What will be needed for him? So the same way, the Lord being the Supreme Master, Aham Jiva Pradapita, he is more worried about taking care of the needs of the child. That's how even so many living entities are there. None of them go to the job, but still everyone are provided with the food. For the basic necessities of life, Krishna will provide everyone. When we want luxury, then we have to make little extra endeavor. One has to go for the job or work to get something extra. Recently, I was there in Vrindavan. I was going for the Vrindavan Parikrama. I saw so many sadhus. They have different ailments or somebody may not be ill or something. But still, I saw that they are all there. Yes, they may have their own difficulties, but I saw that so many are there. That means they are getting their daily without doing any work or any this one. They are getting their day to day bread and butter. That means to keep the life go on. That means it's not that only when we go for the job that is, oh, what if I don't have a degree, if I don't study, then only I'll like what will happen to my daily bread? No, it will be provided. And that will be how it will be arranged, we don't know. That story is there that uh, once there was a minister he had complete faith in the Supreme Lord, and he said, Krishna arranges for everything. And the king said, how is that Krishna arranges? No, no, Krishna arranges for everything. Then he said, next day we'll go for the hunting. He was going for the hunting. So you make arrangement for the food. No, no, Krishna will arrange. Then king thought, if I go with him, he will not like no be bothered. But I have to like carry something. Then he packed all the food and all. He went and he didn't tell the minister. He said, what about the lunch now? No, no, Krishna will arrange some more. Then after some more time, 1 2 hours, both were feeling hungry. Then he said, I know that you are not bringing anything. See, now Krishna is not arranging anything. I have brought. He took out. And they took both of them. They had the lunch. And then he said, where is your Krishna who provided? See, Krishna arranged for me. My stomach is filled. He arranged it through you. So the same way, Krishna will arrange whatever is needed. Another, I got this faith when we in Maharashtra every year during this Ashad Ekadashi. Like now it is coming now. Ashad month is going on in the as per the this one. Ashad Ekadashi is the day when people walk from Dehu, the birthplace of Tukaram Maharaj, till the Pandharpur. It's almost around 245 kilometers. So in that, lakhs and lakhs of people walk. It takes 15-20 days. And ISKCON also has they also go as a team. So from the Pune temple, every year the new joinees, the devotees who join the ashram, they along with some more other brahmacharis who can go and all, maybe around 150 devotees, some other grahastha devotees and all, they'll join. They go together. But our ISKCON, what do you call, the Dindi camp is little sophisticated in the sense all the places are predefined. Okay, today we are going to stay in this place. Before only they go and make the advance arrangement that okay, we'll come in this and stay. And the one whole truck is there carrying the ingredients. They cook and bring to the place where we are there. Afternoon in this place, prasad will be served. Everything is predestined. But because most of us we don't have the experience or the faith, complete dependence on the Lord. But when I traveled, when I went for the Dindi, that time I saw so many Varkaris. They just come with one small bag, maybe one dress what they are wearing plus another one more set of dress. That's it. And they are carrying. They go one village to the other place. They keep walking. In between, so many people keep giving. They want to give. Arey, you are going. I am not able to go. At least take. Somebody gives a biscuit. Somebody gives some coffee. Somebody gives the fruit. Every time, water they give. Those who are walking, even if they sometimes they tell, no, 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 it is more than enough, sufficient. I don't need more. That so that way, they are provided so much. When I saw that, they don't have to spend anything. The 15 days, they just like now taking the name of Lord Vittala and like now remembering him and just walking. And at times in the morning, night, wherever they go in any village, the moment during this time, everybody opens their door. Like, and they go in the sense, may not be call them into the bedroom or something, but then they're okay in the veranda place is there. Okay, they come and sleep, or in the terrace, or some dharmashala, or every village, the schools, whichever are there, they open the doors. They can go and take rest there. In the morning, they go in the some the river or the some water body is there. They take bath. They wet their clothes, put it on the spread it on the ground. 1 hour, 2 hours, it dries. They continue. Some of them they put their cloth in one stick. It will be like a flag. It will be hanging behind. They just keep walking. So this experience give me so much faith that yes, for our basic needs and necessities, Krishna will provide. So which we can experience. We have to put ourselves in that situation. Even one of the uh, uh, senior brahmacharis from Pune, he took a team like no 5 6 brahmacharis. He said, "Let us experience the 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 how Krishna takes care of us. Like because when we put ourselves in that situation, only we'll be able to experience. We'll not carry any money and nothing. For 5 6 days, we'll go like now doing the kirtan and like now beg alms. 5 6 of them, they like now he took them, and every day they went in the vehicle, temple vehicle, to one place. No money, nothing, no vessel, nothing. They would go do in the village, and they would in the morning time they would do their morning program, and then go Harinam, beg 5 6 houses, please give us something uncooked. They would get the some rice, dal, what are some 5 6 10 houses, 15 houses. Little they come and they would ask somebody for the vessel also. Please give us one vessel which you have not used any like no not cooked any non-vegetarian or something. And in that vessel they would cook with a like keep some 3 4 stones and get some lakdi and all would cook. And while that cooking is happening, some simple khichdi, like have some like Krishna Katha, then take prasad and proceed. And night in the night sleep in some uh, temple or any other place. Again proceed. So that way, because that he said we wanted to have that so that we will develop faith in the Krishna's protection and how Krishna provides for everyone. Second thing, our mind becomes strong. Many times when we everything is provided, we keep complaining, why not this, why not that? And at the same time, the expectation becomes more. So, and everybody, devotee said, Prabhu, when we went, our Vanmali Govind Prabhu also had gone with that team. So he said that everywhere, people were so open, like in the sense, just we have to go and like, no, beg, and they were ready to give. So that way, these things, when I saw that, I got, at least I'm telling my experience, that I got a faith that yes, Krishna provides for everyone. So even otherwise, I don't say that everybody has to undergo, but if we see, like no, even if anything is happening in our life without Krishna's sanction, it may not happen. Even the troubles are coming. Right now, we may see it as a trouble, but later we'll see what happened at that time was the good thing, what is best for me. So Krishna is orchestrating. So
It is there from the scriptures, the Upanishads say, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Yo Bahudati Kaman. So whether it's our karma which is acting on order which we are getting our food, in this, how do we see Krishna here? That's the point. Because Krishna has made provision for everybody right from the time a person is born till he dies. Everything is already made arrangement for. How do we see Krishna's mercy here is the question, and particularly devotees. This Krishna has made arrangement for everybody, as you were mentioning in your class, with the animals and all of them. They don't go to the office, they don't earn anything. It's already provided for them. But human is the only one who's got this kind of intelligence where he doubts. Particularly so devotees, for them to increase their faith, that yes, it is not my karma, but it is Krishna. That was the point which I was trying to drive at. So,
Okay. One thing is that yes, as per Krishna has made this whole aspect of karma based on which one gets whatever he's supposed to get. But then again, when one practices bhakti, Krishna only tells that karmani nirdharti, like in the Brahmaji, karmani nirdharti kintu cha bhakti bhajam. When a devotee performs a devotional service, then all his karma is destroyed. So that way, to the extent, like I was also, uh, uh, it was not clear to me how is that Krishna. Is it that Krishna removes all the karmas at one time, or how it is? Then I heard from a senior devotee. He said, to the degree we take shelter of Krishna, to that degree he removes it. And if we don't, ye tamam prapadinte. If we don't, if we reduce our like no surrender, immediately Krishna gives it back. He is holding it like no with him. And then if we reduce, then he gives that much. 20% reduction, 20% is given back. So like that it is. So and ultimately, when the principle of karma is orchestrated by Krishna, that way, this is what I'm able to think. If others, devotees, anybody would like to add? Okay, briefly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. There's actually a question from Zoom. Saraswat Majaji writes that Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji. Thanks for the wonderful class. Can you please give a very short summary? Thank you, Prabhu.
Short summary of the whole class is that Krishna is our real protector, the Lord and the Master. We need to develop that faith that Krishna is our Lord and Master. And like it is said that of all the 6 items, this is the foundation, or this is the angi, and all other 5s are the limbs, the angas. To do this, like when you accept this, Krishna as the supreme Lord, and he is the shelter, then one tries to do all the other remaining things. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, through his songs, he is showing us that how I want to take shelter of the supreme Lord, because not just take shelter, I want to remain as a dog in his house and eagerly wait for his mercy. And Krishna is such a master. I told about the sloka of Lord Ram, how he says that if somebody says that once that, my dear Lord, I am yours, and he is ready to give that shelter to all the time to come. If we are not experiencing that shelter, that means we have not like not eager or wanting to take shelter, that shelter. As Prabhuji said, "Ye tamam prapadyante." So Krishna reciprocates according to our desire. It is our independent mentality with which we decided that I want to be away from Krishna, because of which Krishna has put us in this material world. And with the same independent mentality, we have to declare our dependence on Krishna and decide that I want to surrender to Krishna. Then Krishna makes all the necessary arrangement for us to give that shelter. So then when we accept that shelter, then that can make us really happy. And in this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when we accept that, that can make us really become the fearless, because the fear is there. The whole fear is the one driving factor in this whole material world. The fear is making the whole world run, because the soul is like no eternal, because of which like the one wants to live for eternally, but at the same time this body is temporary and which is going to go away, because the misidentification with the body, one wants that this body also should remain for all time to come. Let's say when anything happens to the body, one becomes fearful. The moment the wrinkle comes, then immediately there's a fear of losing one's beauty or the becoming old. That's a cosmetic industry is there, because one is fearful of the hunger, the whole food industry is there. So that way, all those this is there. But when uh, takes the Krishna Kathamrita, the normal Amrita can give the longevity, increase the span of the life, but Krishna Kathamrita is such that it cuts the cycle of birth and death and gives the, like the eternal life. Then one can be really what one is aspiring or desiring, wanting to live a long life or eternally, that can happen. So this is what little bit. Right.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class and so many nice points you made. With the situation that we are in currently, and the troubles and the distress that one goes through, sometimes it becomes a selective surrender or a conditional surrender. How do we deal or overcome that?
How do we?
Deal with it, or can we overcome that, or how do we deal basically?
Yeah. Yes. As a practicing sadhaka, it is true that whenever things go, when things are favorable, then our bhakti becomes very strong. When unfavorable or difficulties are there, that time it becomes little weak. That is the stage of anishtita bhajana kriya. So in the Madhurya Kadambini, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that like in that stage, it is like a up and down, like in the wave. But then when we keep continuing practicing, then a stage will come where one comes to the like nishtita bhajana kriya. Just like Chaitanya Chandra used to tell this 4 stages. Whenever one is trying to learn a bike, he is initially he's like no incompetent to run it because he doesn't have the knowledge of it, unconscious of it. So there is unconscious incompetent state. Then when he understands, he knows that now the theory, they say the clutch, brake, accelerator, everything. But he's still like incompetent because he has the knowledge, but he doesn't have the practice. So that is the next stage. And the third stage is where he comes to, okay, this is the clutch, brake, accelerator, I have to apply. But he's more conscious of these things that he doesn't see the pothole is there or the front vehicle is coming or something. He can drive it in the ground, but may not be in the road. So that is competent conscious state. Then if we continue still, a day will come when many of you are driving, there may be like no somebody behind. While talking to them, automatically our hand legs like to put the brake, gear, everything, and like when the red light comes, then without our knowledge, everything is happening. And the moment green light, it like again continues ahead. While our mind is completely focused on the discussion. The same way, if we still continue, then a day will come when we all also become conscious, unconsciously competent. But then that it has to happen. To do that, for that to happen, we need to practice. If a person just hears, understands, okay, this clutch brake or does little bit of practice and then like leaves, then he will not be able to become expert driver. So it has to be like continuous endeavor should be there. Then that will make one become like expert or in that. Just like some people, they leave their hand and like drive the bike or something because they are more expert. At least they have practiced more. So that cannot happen just in the first day of the this. So for us to happen, that we need to like just like to surrender. Yes, at least we should be happy that right now I am surrendering at the favorable times or whenever like it is possible for me or conducive. Then if we keep continuing, then a day will come when difficult situations come. That time also we'll be able to do that. Just like a teacher gives the exam paper according to the level of the child, the same way Krishna gives us a test which we can pass. But the test is not that paper will not be that just easy or something. Like Haridev Krishna Prabhu said the paper. He will not make the papers so easy that like no. Uh, but it is for their level. It is like no. They may feel it little tough, but if they are prepared nicely, they will be able to solve it. The same way Krishna gives us tests which we can pass. We have the capacity, but we have to make that endeavor or we have to be ready for that. And if you see in our life, Krishna, where we fall or what the difficulties we have, it is the same thing which keeps again and again coming. Unless we prepare ourselves or practice and pass that, till that time he will not give the new test. It may come in a different way. The different variables are changed. This time in the XYZ, X is asked, next time Y may be asked, next time Z may be asked. It is just jumbled up. So that way it is our sincere practice. When we are sincere, then like no, Krishna will help us because he is sitting in the heart. Prabhupada very nicely writes in the this 10:10 Jnana Deepena Vaspata, that one. Aham Ajnana Jamtama. In that shloka, Prabhupada, Tesham Evanukampartam Aham Ajnana Jamtama. In that, I think in that, or I think 10:10 was that. Prabhupada writes, even if a devotee who is there, who has spiritual master, but if he doesn't know how to take benefit of the spiritual master, if he is sincere, but he is naive or he doesn't know, then Krishna within the heart as a Paramatma, he inspires by which he can be guided. So basically that sincerity. If you are sincere, then Krishna will surely help. The help may come with the indication through Paramatma or some other devotees externally. Either way it may be. It's very, at least you're able to surrender in the favorable times. So you all can pray for us that we'll also be able to surrender. So much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. So wonderful class and a difficult topic, very nicely, gracefully handled. So let us all thank Prabhuji. And we also had the Kannada class on the upstairs by His Grace Balaji Govind Prabhu. So let us all thank Suvarna Gaur. I got a message. Sorry. So it was by His Grace Suvarna Gaur Hari Prabhu. So let us all thank both of the wonderful devotees and express our gratitude from the bottom of our heart by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as a wonderful step towards this topic that we had today, we have we all can participate in a nice service that we have upcoming after the Prasadam. It's supposed to be at 11 o'clock. We have Gundicha Marjanam today. So we all can participate. We'll immediately start after the Prasadam. So please participate wholeheartedly in cleaning the temple premises. We don't have any Prasadam sponsors today. Anybody would like to sponsor Prasadam today? Prabhuji. We have Venkatarama Prabhu who Aparna Mataji's birthday, on occasion of Aparna Mataji's birthday, Prabhuji is sponsoring today's Prasadam. And we also have a co-sponsor who's partly sponsored. His name is Vishnu Ram Prabhu on the occasion of their marriage anniversary. So let us all chant for these wonderful devotees. Aloud Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ekadashi is on 10th, and we also have Chaturmasya coming up. So that is on 13th, where we fast from green leafy vegetables for a month. Hare Krishna.
ಇವತ್ತು 11 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಗುಂಡಿಚ ಮಾರ್ಜನ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಕ್ತರು ಪ್ರಸಾದ ನಂತರ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ Krishna book reading seva that will be online. We are planning to do it. We want devotees to come forward and help us in this seva. If anybody would like to do this on Zoom, then you can please contact me. Hare Krishna. English, yeah. So we will have a Krishna book reading in English at night, 9:30. Yeah. Because that was recommended by Srila Prabhupada. It will be only for 15 minutes, not much. To begin with, 15 minutes. But we want devotees who can come and take up the seva. Just facilitate opening the site or the book, soft copy, and then read through. And different devotees can read each paragraph or couple of sentences in that way. Hare Krishna.
Which is a wonderful festival that is upcoming. Janmashtami Mahotsav ki jai. So there was a flyer which was circulated. I think it was last week. Where it was a small flyer which had some indications about where all the festivals will be hosted and conducted. But please stay tuned for further details. There will be more details, and if you all are connected on the WhatsApp, please stay tuned for the details of when and how and what will be. And there will be a lot of seva opportunities. Please reach out to your seniors or who you are connected to through the DCS group or Bhakti Vrikshas for the seva opportunities.
श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई दर्शन की जय, लक्ष्मी श्री भगवान की जय, गौर निताई की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. We'll just end the session now and let's continue with the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.